In. Oh,
We're
we're live.
live.
Hey y'all. That was like the saddest opening I've ever done. Hey, Facebook and YouTube. We are well, I'm Nikki Jobin, and this is my business partner Diana Rajchel. We are from Golden Apple Metaphysical, and this is Left Unsupervised, which is Misbehaving. Hey Diana, how's it
Yes.
going?
Yeah. Chaos reigns as usual, but there's less stuff on fire now,
Well,
especially
that's
since
that's
the house had a
important.
boiler fire. So I think it kind of can't think of more things to have on fire anymore.
There we go.
So,
I'm just editing privacy on this so
so
we
people can
can
see
see it.
us. That that
People can
that's
see
important.
us.
Yes.
That's important. Okay.
So, hi.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Weird. We haven't done this in God, I don't know how long it's been since we've done this. We are back from hiatus, and
Yay.
we've been doing all kinds of weird shit. Hey, Christine says hi. We
Hi,
have
Christine. So, do we need to start over with the greeting again since you had it on privacy on private before?
well, they'll be able to watch it on the replay, but we absolutely can because let's be honest, I had a brain fart.
That's okay. We've
Um,
been, yeah.
Welcome to Left Unsupervised, which is Misbehaving. I am Nikki Jobin, and this is my partner in crime,
Diana Rajchel. Hi. And
I always forget which side is left and right when I'm doing this.
yeah,
So we are the if you've never seen us before, we are the co-owners of Golden Apple Metaphysical. I'm gonna hide Christine's comment just so you can see the website there.
yep.
We started this shop. Really, we got started on it during the pandemic.
We did. Like we had the idea and we kept trying to get towards it like since 2017. And to say that shit happened would be something of an
Mhm.
understatement to the tune of there is a meteor hurtling towards the earth, and then the third one hits. But by that time
Yeah.
I finally changed my underwear.
Nice. So yeah, during the pandemic, I had a lot of time on my hands because if you don't know me, I work in the bar industry and we were closed during the pandemic. So I was really bored and made a website. And then we started making stuff. I mean, we were
Yep.
making stuff before, but that was more for personal use than general use.
Yeah. And so we have continued making stuff, Nikki more so than I, because I was rescue adopted by Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get some healing time after a spectacularly hellacious half decade. But I got Nikki and the Emperor Norton Magic Folk Social out of that. So,
You
and
did.
Wicked
You did.
Grounds in the community there. So, all hearts. But the City Priestess gig was fucking me up.
Yeah.
So I
Ooh,
was
and
living.
we have that new thing that I'm gonna plug their Instagram
Yes.
later. We're gonna talk about those guys later. So we just keep talking because I'm typing
Yeah.
here and I
So
can't multitask.
I have finally gotten to the making of the stuff again a little bit, but right now there's been several challenges because like we moved into an office in North Nectar Meadery Brewery. This was a pagan owned brewery. Now I think one of the owners is Wiccan, but it's a different group and there's just been a lot of stuff going on there. So it's really hard to get, like, I almost need to do something I did with a therapist when I lived in Minneapolis, where I wasn't able to see her for almost 6 months. And there was
Mm-hmm.
so much stuff to explain what was going on that I actually got out one of those giant kids' drawing papers and created a timeline for her with
Mm-hmm.
all of the shit that had gone on. So she
Nice.
actually kept it for a file to show to other patients for when they were trying to figure out how to communicate when they were overwhelmed. And I am
Wow.
at the point like if we had a whiteboard, I'd just be like, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. But I am finally making stuff for Golden Apple, and also because I am working out of Elements Kalamazoo for clients to basically come screen me. So I'm doing like short readings and really affordable stuff out of there and advising the shop, but I am not in any way involved with the ownership, but I am teaching out of there. And so I am making things for Golden Apple, but also test marketing them at Elements, which they're letting me do quite generously. And so that's been some of my stuff is like in backlog on the website. I just need to put it out so y'all can, buy it. And I know my stuff is Nikki's used my stuff. We know I make good stuff, but I'm getting super picky about packaging. And then both my printers broke at the same time. So like packaging, labeling, all that stuff that I'm so picky about doing, I couldn't do. And then just as I was about to get that fixed, my 40-year-old boiler that we were told we had 10 more years on decided it was done. And it almost took us with it. Yes, it was bad.
Yeah, didn't it cause fire?
It caught on fire twice. So Christmas Eve, Cynthia, so this is the weird part. Cynthia doesn't have a sense of smell. Christmas Eve, I got up, I let the dog out. I started coffee. I did the things I usually do because we didn't have our kids with us that week. And I went upstairs, and Cynthia usually sleeps like the dead until 3 p.m. if we don't have anything scheduled. Sat up in bed and went, I smell plastic burning. So we went downstairs, and indeed, plastic was coming from the boiler. We don't know how. And it was this whole thing where we called because we have the electric company out here has a plan where if you do like a mini insurance, they will replace certain appliances or send out repair people. So we called them. First guy wasn't certified to work on a steam boiler. The guy that was certified couldn't get out until December 27th. And this was during a Siberian weather pattern where it was sub-zero, like.
Yeah, just in case you've never been to Michigan, Diana lives where the sun forgets you.
No, that's further
Just
north.
in the winter.
Oh, you should see the face Cynthia is making at that. They're a little offended, but they're them.
Hey, at least I didn't say it was a flyover state, which, by the way, I have never referred to it as.
Which I appreciate a great deal because I've lived in a lot of places people call flyover that are pretty fucking great. You just have to know where to look.
I just kind of think that it's all the stuff in the middle that I don't know.
Yeah, and because there's people that live their whole life just going to the East Coast to the West Coast and never stopping in between. And part of it is that when they do stop in between, the culture shock can be massive. It really
I've driven through a lot of the middle places.
You have, and you've had some interesting adventures getting chased in at least one of them.
Wow, okay. That's another story for another day.
Yes.
I'm actually trying to keep us on our agenda today because we have dedicated that this is only going to be an hour because if you've ever seen any of our broadcasts, you know they run the 2 to 3 hour mark.
We enjoy each other, and I know you guys enjoy us, but not that much of us.
Yeah, so we are dedicated that this is only going to be an hour-ish. Today.
Which means we can't have me do my shaggy dog stories, and they're all shaggy dog stories that end up with something on fire.
Aren't you the shaggy dog for Nora, though? You're the pet for Nora.
Oh, no, I'm the dragon cat. My dog thinks I'm her pet.
Dragon
I am
cat.
her
There
pet
you
dragon
go.
cat. My kids aren't comfortable calling me their stepmom, so they call me their dragon cat.
I like that.
It actually works a little better for me.
Yeah. I see. What have I been doing since we've been on hiatus? Well, I'm back to work because the bar reopened. Yay! We are busy as hell. We're just know.
I'm happy to hear that.
And I'm totally plugging. The cast of Six was if you've never seen the musical Six, it's about the six wives of Henry VIII, and some of their cast, like the Six, were there last night at the bar, which was very awesome. They sang for us. It was incredible. They really, really loved it there. So we were super duper excited to have these ladies there, and so sweet. So sweet.
Well, and for anybody that's not familiar, San Francisco, Nikki works at a bar called Martuni's, which, like, is it a legacy business yet or no? But it's like
we found that we are not officially in the legacy business category, but we are. Martuni's is a staple in San Francisco. If you're watching us from the East Coast, it's kind of in the genre of like Don't Tell Mama and Don't Tell Mama, and there's another, Marie's Crisis in New York. So it's one of the last remaining, if not the last remaining piano bar in San Francisco. I think Foley's does dueling pianos. But yeah, we are one of the last of I don't want to say dying breed because we are very alive and thriving. and business has been great, and we have an amazing community. So we're really happy about all the amazing people that we have in there. Um, let's see, what else have I been doing? I have been creating products. And yesterday I did. Not only have I been creating products, I have been fighting with the social media monster,
Yeah.
which, if you know me, you know I don't like social media because I don't like making videos of myself. But I've been doing videos, and yesterday we did a DIY about witch balls. And I'm going to give a disclaimer here. Normally my witch balls are way more full than this little guy. Let's see if I can hold it. It's getting a weird glare from the screen, so you can't really
And
see it.
and
But
I
this
know there
is
are people out
one
there
that I
making all of their dirty jokes about full balls, but sometimes you just don't need that.
look at. I like my witch balls.
They are gorgeous.
But it got over 700 views.
Fantastic.
So I'm super duper excited. I'm really, and it was TikTok, which I don't really understand. I feel like my grandma or my mom, I'm like, I don't understand the TikTok, you know, but I'm trying to figure it out.
So,
It takes me about 3 hours to make a 3-minute video.
and for me, I'm at the point where I just punch the button because I just don't care. But I know that
But I like to
people
do the
really
cool
get
little, let me
excited about
touch
making,
down.
yeah, people get excited about making things. My thing is trying to avoid surfing witch talk while making stuff for witch talk, but my stuff is, I'll admit it, it can be a little boring because I talk about like cult danger evaluation frame and stuff that I wish people knew,
Mhm.
or stuff that people used to know that they kind of skip now because a lot of the newer stuff doesn't cover the old basics, but the newer stuff like is usually better research, so there's some trade-offs.
Yeah, but
um
I think that
yeah.
it's really, I really like your videos. I've gotten really good feedback about the videos for you because it's not, though I hate the term baby witch, you know that. I think
Mhm.
everybody has something to bring to the table, and they came on this path for a reason.
Yeah.
I really enjoy your videos because sometimes I've been doing this for what, 30 years, and there are things that you've popped up on there that I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I've never heard that before, and I learn stuff, which is super. I mean, I learn stuff every day, let's be honest. What's that
Yeah.
phrase? I was today years old when. That
And I
is
like
my
that
mantra.
phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. I learn something weird and new every day, and I really am happy about that. But I do like the videos that you put out, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be very transparent. I've been scared shitless to do these videos because they seem completely overwhelming to me, but I'm working on it. So look forward to more videos from Golden Apple Metaphysical. And I don't remember what, I think we're Golden
I think we're,
Apple Metaphysical 1 or something.
yeah, but I found two. So I think there's one you open and then lost the login for that I just found today. So so Golden Apple
Yeah.
Metaphysical 1. And that's okay because I found a whole TikTok because under my TikTok I'm Spoon Cherry and it's the Spirited Witch, and
Yeah.
people like there was a bunch of stuff tagged to me for WitchCon under an account that I must have opened to watch something one of my partners kept sending me, because of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
I saw that one actually yesterday when I was trying to tag you, and I know you're Spoon Cherry, but
Hmm.
I was like, oh, there's Diana Rachel.
Yeah. Well, and
Um,
yeah, because I've also switched over because I'm having the same issue with my Facebook account where I changed my actual Facebook account where I'm just, basically flashing you with pagan, because I got elected to my kids' PTO middle school. So I'm the president of my kids' PTO in their middle school, and I'm not exactly in an area that might necessarily cotton to witchy stepmom.
mhm.
So, yeah, I've got an ardent Chick-fil-A eater on my board with me. I'm trying to tread carefully and not make more problems for my kid. But it's causing some interesting issues.
Yeah, and now I'm the one with at my daughter's slumber party. The kids are asking me, "Are you really a witch? Do you do spells? Can we ask you questions?" I'm like, "Wow, I'm really not prepared for these questions from little people." But
From actual
okay,
baby witches or
yeah,
baby
yeah.
or baby seekers anyway.
Yeah, but they're digging it. I'm kind of excited about it. We made them cute little, like, we made these tiny, tiny vials of protection charms for them because unfortunately, this being the day and age that we are, it was a hoax, but there was at one point there was a shooting threat, a gun violence threat at the school, which the school took care of brilliantly. The moms that I know here, we all kind of decided en masse that we were gonna, keep the kids out of school on the day that it was proposed, and pretty much most of the parents at the school had the same thought because it was like a ghost town. I'd heard
Yeah.
later, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make these kids little protection charms. What can it hurt? What else have I been doing? Fighting the TikTok monster. And yes, I do
With
call it the TikTok. The,
that's okay. I still
okay,
remember
it's
years
okay. I
ago, my
make
mom.
lamb. That's how
Yeah,
I do. That's what I do.
I
Yes.
remember one elder there was an elder that was trying to adapt to social media who used to call things face space when Facebook and MySpace were around. Like now we have our new platform. Eventually, everything will merge into face space, and it will just be bad HTML and bad political
There you go.
arguments.
This is Christine's phrase that she's coining: tween witches. I like
That's
that.
accurate.
Yeah, I like that one. Um, what else have I been doing? I moved after the pandemic. I moved in. We've lived here. Gosh, we've lived here over a year now.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
moved a little bit further down on the Bay Area Peninsula, um, and we're in this great house. I absolutely love it. I almost, with the exception of a big spooky witchy attic, I pretty much have everything I want here. And we're still renting. We haven't bought, but I love this place. It's awesome.
And for context, in the Bay, you pretty much have to be a multimillionaire to buy. So everybody rents in the Bay. That's just kind of how it is. So
yeah, except now I have a longer drive into work. Let's see.
That's a
What
downside.
else am I doing?
San Mateo's hella cute though. Like they have a really cute downtown.
I wasn't gonna name the city, but that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I live in San Mateo. It's okay. No worries.
My bad.
It's a big town. You can't really find. Well, yeah, you could probably easily find me because
All right, please forget
I'm
I said
doing
that.
weird shit in
If I
your
can
yard.
undox you, I will. I apologize.
Yeah, please. I have a Jobin. What the hell are they going to do to me?
That's fair. Well, what are they going to do to you that you wouldn't enjoy? That's the tricky part with you. Maybe not to the extent of my partner Janelle, but yes, it would be more of a challenge.
Yeah, because my weird shit-o-meter is really high, people. So you gotta bring it. If you're gonna mess with me, you gotta bring it. Yeah, that's kind of it. Just doing the truly suburban mom thing because I live in literally if there are fences on my street, most of them are white picket. But I have black
on them. Fix that.
No, are you kidding? I like it because my house is the house with the black metal fence.
That's the good house. I actually want to get one for my house. So yes,
it's like literally if someone someone up there in the great beyond was like, we're gonna make a Nikki house, this would be the house.
I think that is fantastic. I'm so happy for you.
So as a lead into what we've been kind of doing, you just had some exciting stuff going on. You just came back from doing not only WitchCon online, but you also just came back from Detroit and from doing Convocation, right?
I did. I was one of the featured presenters, which was an amazing experience. I want to acknowledge for the folks that are going to watch that were there. There were some people who had a not so amazing experience because there was an ice storm the day before the con, and it turned into a massive clusterfuck for hotel reservations. So there were people that not only did not get their rooms or got a room and then had somebody given their room key and walking in on them while they were still in their rooms that they had just checked into.
Oh my gosh.
And the first night there was a fire. I had nothing to do with that. Like an air conditioner broke down and lit on fire. And the fact that I have had nothing to do with the fires that are just starting around me. Finally.
I'm not saying anything.
In my life.
I'm not saying anything. But if you hang out with Diana, bring a fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah, my middle child checks the expiration dates of fire extinguishers, and we made sure we have one for basically every bedroom, the kitchen, and the dining room after the fire that happened over Christmas. So we just have them. We even have some extra ones in the hotel room we're in.
Yeah.
So, which is wise with me. Let's just be honest. I don't even do candle magic anymore, and shit still lights on fire. So, but no, convocation, it was really good, even with my classes that were smaller. Because I think that hex twisting, a lot of people have read it, figured out it's a really good spell breaking manual, and they're either using it and applying it, but other spirit workers have been coming to the workshops for that and picking my brain.
Nice. Yeah.
So that was fantastic. My Artist's Way for Witches class turned into a group of neurodivergent people giving each other resources, because the Artist's Way, for those that aren't familiar, is a system of unblocking yourself creatively. It's a 12-week program, ideally. And it is based on, well, it was written by Julia Cameron, Martin Scorsese's ex-wife. She had certain supports that most people would not have. So, like, she's very insistent that things be done, like, in the morning only and so on, that don't necessarily work if you're blue collar and work in a third shift job.
Or if you work in a bar and you've gotten an hour of sleep and still have to get up at 6:30 and take the kids to school.
Yeah, you're not going to have time to do morning pages, and you certainly may not even have time to do them by hand, or if you broke your hand, or if you have a disability. The other thing is, like, if you have ADHD, writing things 3.5 pages longhand, it will not happen. So one of the things that I bring to this are some adjustments, because one of the things I've been working on in the process of all the other stuff that I've been teaching and developing are what I'm calling neurodivergent stops, where, okay, we'll talk about how, you know, meditating is trying to sit still for 5 minutes. Okay, but if you're neurodivergent, because your brain is constantly dopamine chasing, you might be able to do something once or twice, or even longer than that, but eventually your brain's going to say, nope, not giving you dopamine for that anymore, and you will have to change it up. And so I'm talking about different approaches people can take, with the understanding they're going to have to switch it up when I'm talking about the different techniques that I teach for becoming better at magic. And that was one of the big things I was bringing into the Artist's Way work, and it went really well. Cindy's classes were completely packed. So my partner is a Finnish American shaman who was teaching Intro to Animism and working with the animistic spirits of emotions. And they were my partner in the empath work I've been doing. And I'm going to come back to the empath work because while I was not walking into 60 empaths in different levels of crisis this time, it was still very interesting, and I learned new things. And I also did a ritual to the city spirit of Detroit. And I had an entertaining adventure with that. And I think that Golden Apple is getting a teacher out of this. So besides Nikki, which is fantastic. But what happened is, on my first night at the con, I was, you know, basically Cindy's assistant for their workshop. And somebody approached me going, well, have you heard about the Nain Rouge? Like, are you going to do anything about the Nain Rouge if you're doing a ritual to Detroit? And I'll be honest, I had heard of them sort of, but I hadn't thought to dive into it or really connect it. Like, when I put these rituals together, Cynthia and I will sit together, and Cynthia will channel the land spirits, and I will channel or hear the city spirits, and it just kind of comes together from there. And the way the ritual is constructed is Detroit wanted to say very specific things to people, not necessarily in chronological order, but about living there, about the blue collar life, about being in a city that collapses and rises again. And like, it was like it gave me a playlist. It's like, I don't want you to do all the stuff that you normally do in the neo-pagan things. This is what I want. I want you to dance. I am all about music. I've always been all about music. Here's the music I want you to play, which is how I found out Bob Seger was from Detroit. I had no idea. And Against the Wind was, in fact, one of the more important songs in the ritual. But they were approaching me, the Nain Rouge, and you would need to look this up. And this is not a thing to summon or chase. It's kind of a local cryptid or an indigenous spirit. And I did have the pleasure of talking to a few folklorists about it that will show up in time just before times of disaster. So it was believed to have been seen right before some serious riots in the 1980s in Detroit. And there is a story about this, one of the early settlers, the last name was Cadillac, as in like the Cadillac car that was named for, that was built in Detroit. But this particular French settler was being very European arrogant about it, was told to make nice with the Nain Rouge, which is kind of a trickster spirit, and instead he decided to punt it. And his entire life, unsurprisingly, fell completely apart after that, which is what you get when you punt indigenous spirits. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them at all.
Yeah, so somebody was like trying to talk me into getting raw meat for it, whatever. What I did is like the night before I went and talked to the indigenous spirits that, and the animistic spirits that like predate anybody, any humans being here.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay. And they're just like, you know what? Don't worry about that. Just leave it to us. This is our thing. My understanding the day after I did the ritual, and the ritual went incredibly well, there were people that were kind of questioning my right to do it since I am not Detroit city priest or city priestess. And
Mhm.
these are not gendered terms for me, but that's like a conversation I will be doing in a video series soon, explaining how I can work with
Nice.
cities when I am not their priest. Um, but a lot of people that were kind of skeptical came and tried it and were telling me that they had these really moving, deep experiences with the city and
Mhm.
understanding their connection to it. And even if they didn't live there, how it influences their lives and their ancestry and their personal stories. And which was what I wanted, is people had experiences and were able to hear their city spirit talk to them, which is what I was trying to make happen. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's
yes,
what
goal achieved.
I definitely miss about the physical conventions, is that
Yeah,
you do have the opportunity to have these experiences and have these moments with people. Um, Years ago when I was at PantheaCon and we were talking about, it was some social justice work, and we were honoring the, oh God, I can't remember. It was well over 200 names of people that had died just that year.
yeah.
And just the profound just emotion in the room
Hmm.
was, that was the day I overdid it there.
I
And
remember
so that was
that.
one of the things, yeah, that was one of the things that I did. And just seeing these people come together, and just there was just an incredible amount of sadness for this huge loss of life, and how they came together as a group. And though we were all really sad about it, we healed as well. We helped each other just start those foundational building blocks to heal again. And
Yeah,
that's something that you can't get online sometimes.
that is very true. And I've done online rituals successfully, but there is something to the in person that
Hmm.
is very different. In a way, it allows both more and less privacy because you don't have to be as openly energetically connected to still have a communal experience.
Yeah.
And I also had some community support. So Sarah Odinson helped me out with the ritual by helping me stay grounded and keep my shit together. And he is a spirit, a North-centered spirit worker. I can't like accurately name all the stuff he does. He is with the Grandfather Fire podcast, and he's a local teacher and spirit worker who does spirit work in
Nice.
a way very different from mine. But it is, I just want to pick his brain more. Like he and his partners are just such incredible people, and I am so grateful for the help that he gave us. And he was actually the other person that I kicked out of my classroom when I first met Cynthia at my first convocation.
I was going to do a side note that
Yes,
Convocation is the place where you met our dear Cinti.
yes, yeah. And I know there's some people that are kind of side eyeing Cinti, going, "Is he right? Are they riding Diana's coattails?" No, Cinti has chops sometimes far beyond mine.
Yeah. Let me tell you, anyone that says that has never had a conversation with Cinti.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? There
And
are things that they, and the way that they see the world, that I'm looking there going, I know I've done this for 30 years, but I'm an infant. I'm an infant.
every day with me, they
Yeah.
have a very lickable brain.
Yeah.
And I'm sapiosexual, and they fed me salted licorice. So that's kind of what happened, guys. Sorry if you missed me in California. Cinti fed me salted licorice, and the only other person who knew that secret was my partner, Danielle.
There you
Um,
go. There you go. You're
it
coming
catches
back.
you with
I don't know
Diana.
why you act like it's forever, because
I'm coming back.
you're,
I know, but well, my kids have to graduate from high school, and my kids are teenagers, so it feels like
yeah.
forever. We're in
Well,
teenage time. That is a special kind of 100 years.
yeah. But you have boys. I have Elizabeth.
That is true.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is the reason that we had why you had to call me over one weekend going, can you like do a distance exorcism?
She
I
will
have stuff in my
never
house.
live that down.
Oh no. It is a good thing that Bloody Mary likes Bloody Marys.
But here's the funny thing about her now, though. She, sometimes has some issues with classmates, and I'm like, we could do a little hex to make them behave better. And she's like, no, Mom, that's not okay. I'm like, whose kid
See,
are
yeah.
you?
Well, this is her teenage phase. Remember, teenage is opposites world, which means we're gonna have to talk her down a lot in her 20s.
I
But
guess, because she is
here's the
just
thing.
like, I'm like, do this, do this.
Here's the thing, though. Did you ever watch the reboot of The Craft?
Oh,
And it was so
I have
good.
not seen that yet.
It is a continuation of the original Craft, and they work it in really well. And the new generation is so much smarter than we were. Like, the original Craft is so Gen X, and I guess this would be early Gen Z, late millennial Craft. Instead of hexing the bully, they get him in touch with his higher self. Like, they were so much smarter about magic than we were, and it works better. And it's not as
if you want to look at it that way. I mean,
successful results with something sustainable. Yes, I would.
I say that like I'm not having the utmost trouble creating a hex line, right?
Yeah,
But
you would think it would be reversed, since I'm the Aziraphale in this combination. But I'm like, oh no. You want revenge oil? I will hex some motherfucker through there. I still try to talk my clients out of it, because I try to work myself out of the job, and if I let them do the revenge shit, I'm just creating dependency, which I do not want.
But see, your thing is that you're actually doing the work. See, my whole thing is, if I have to hex a person, I hex a bitch in a heartbeat. I don't care. I don't give a shit about that. But me creating something that just goes out in general and I don't know who it's on, I'm like, what if that person doesn't really deserve it? That's kind of a dick move.
You can add a filter for that. You can add a justification filter. There are ways to do that.
I am actually weaving a few things in.
Yeah.
Let's how was Hexfest? And then we'll move on to what is not Hexfest.
Witches Fest. Hexfest, yeah. WitchCon was really fun, and Witches Fest is like the one in New York, and I've been approached about doing it, and approached about doing WitchCon 2024, and I've just been climbing into being shot out of a rocket every day. So coming back to something creative that I want to create is not coming to mind easily right now. WitchCon was really good. I did a class on identifying spirits, and yes, I am, because it has been requested since BeganaCon, where we did the spirit identification in the field, where we not so much invoked but invited spirits to come and act as, I guess metaphorically it would be the same as artist models, and come and pose. And did
you expand the demon section?
Did I do what?
Did you expand on the demon section?
I chose not to, because this is because this is Minneapolis, and people were shitting their pants at Archangel Michael. I don't think they were ready to handle demons. They could barely handle the unseelie fae that showed up, or the crocodile that showed up at the end, which was funny. So yeah, it was. I was trying to keep it within, but I would like to do one with an extended demon section. There are two, so this goes into the projects I'm going to be doing. Is I'm working on the empath trainings to the point where we will be able to have retreats by the end of next year.
Yes, and I have a sticker for Eventbrite. Is that one of the? Is that one
that
of
is the one? That is not my class. That is for the class that I need to talk about from Convocation, because of the Nain Rouge. So coming back to that, thank you. After the con, I got reached out to by Chatan Noir. I think it's Noir. Noir is how you're supposed to say it. She wrote the book Intro to Hoodwitchery, which was an urban pagan guide for magical urbanism before I started my stuff with urban magic, and it wasn't one of the influences on my book. And she's also a leading folklorist, a cryptids expert. So I'm
so excited about this.
Yeah, she had the down low on Nain Rouge. I think she was teaching a workshop today, but I wasn't able to make it because of my PTO stuff. And it's in Detroit, so it's like a 3.5-hour drive for me. So I am hoping to persuade her to perhaps do that. But she is going to be doing workshops for us weekly, because she has that much material to teach. And
so Diana tells me that she wants to do classes for us, and I'm doing a Snoopy dance, because I'm so
I was
so excited about this.
I was too, and she suggested someone for potentially teaching hoodoo, but I think that I want to talk to that person, because she may have some standards for who her students are, so we might have to work with her differently. So I don't want to bring that person in until I know that they're in, but it would be somebody who absolutely has the authentic training and lineage.
Mhm.
But with Shaitan, she is starting with a class tomorrow. We have an Eventbrite link for signing up, and the way we're doing our classes is she's going to do it on dealing with the paranormal, which probably is far more polite than how Nikki and I deal with the paranormal. But it is very much in the wheelhouse of the Golden Apple staff. We deal with
I'm
the
gonna
weird and
throw that in
spooky.
the chat if I can figure
Yes.
out how to do that.
So, but she'll be doing that, and then weekly it's going to be different subjects. So we're going to be doing leprechauns and the Irish origin fairies next week. I know it would be probably better to get it more in line with St. Patrick's Day because St. Pat's is a huge deal in the Kalamazoo and Detroit area. But I think that there's enough people with enough interest in that Celtic body of lore that will be interested. And it's just her library of stuff that she teaches is mind-blowing. And I was talking about creative process, like, oh yeah, I just do this, this, and this, and this. And I'm just like looking at her going, I still need time to sleep.
Ah,
Like I'm not going to spoil her.
I am adding this into the chat via Facebook because I
Yeah.
can't figure out how to type it in on our comments here because
Okay. Like it's just like not letting you do it, or yeah, we don't really have a way.
you know what? You have it right there. Why don't you just pop it in the chat in the comments there?
I
Oh,
am
I don't know
trying
how
to,
to
and
do
it won't let me do it either. So I'd
Okay.
have to go over, and I'm worried that we're going to get some. Let me see if I can do it this way.
Oh, wait, Cinti is there.
Hey,
Cinti, can you put
Cindy,
that in
can
the
you do me a
comments for
favor?
us?
I need you to pop a link into the live chat for Golden Apple. Would you be able to do that for me, please? That's a good
Actually, and I'm
idea.
going to take this off. I'm going to take this off of Ticker. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
that's
then it'll just pop up on the screen.
okay. Nope, that was the wrong one. So not the Patreon, although we do need to talk about the Patreon.
Did I pop
Let me,
up the Patreon? Oh no, this
uh,
is the Eventbrite.
well, I'm sending to Cinti both because people need to know about both. And I'm kind of wanting to pop in that stuff about the library since I found out about it because I'm like, ooh, new
Yes,
friend.
I have that there. I'm gonna pop on the screen their Instagram because we're gonna talk about that in a minute because that is very cool and it's something about San Francisco that I didn't know that was there. And I'm
Right?
very excited.
I'm still mad I didn't know. But to wrap up, is Shaitan is teaching a class on dealing with the paranormal tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. So it would be 5 p.m. PST. But if you're not able to make it, that is okay. Everything that we're recording, yes, you can get it through Eventbrite tickets and sliding scale. You can also purchase it after it is gone. Like I think we're leaving things for 3 months right now. But after the 3 months private viewing period, they will be available in the digital material that we're providing with Golden Apple. So like right now, my big emphasis, because making stuff is kind of sort of happening, but recording and classes I can do, and I can find people to teach classes. So before we go into the library, I also wanted to bring up that my friend, she goes by Vanessa for her public name. She is a blind woman who happens to be a fantastic dimensional magic worker. Because she hasn't been able to see, to read, or learn things the way most of us had. So she's kind of developed her own thing. So she's going to be teaching a class in dimensional magic and kind of feeling that out. And this is one where it's like astral projection without astral projection. You can pretty much do everything you can do with astral projection without having to like make sure you're like fully out of body. And she has a really cool method for doing it that is really like she's taught it to me and it has made such a difference in my own practice. Like it is something I use. She is my go-to. Vanessa, it's Vanessa Redding. She's my go-to person when I don't know what something is. So if I'm having a what the hell is that, I call her. And we're hoping she would like to start doing a lot of classes on left-hand paths goddess spirituality, because that is her thing. So working with Lilith, working with Sekhmet, working with the dark goddesses from a more materialist perspective, because her relationships with them
Does she work with Ereshkigal at all?
She does not. That's more my thing. And Ereshkigal, because Ereshkigal is a death goddess, I know that she has the city of Kur and the demons, and like she's my badass. Like I love her so much. but because it's death, I don't really think of it as left or right hand. I know there's a lot of people that see Ereshkigal as a vampire goddess or a left hand goddess.
I was less thinking left, more thinking dark, but
She's definitely a dark goddess. I mean,
yeah.
and she has worked through some shit. So, literally, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know if she works with Ereshkigal. That's always been more like my thing. And that's something it is sacred and precious enough to me that I've only really started talking about it. And for those that are unfamiliar, a lot of people will hear the goddess descent story where where Inanna descends through the gates of hell to see her sister and gets hung on a meat hook. Well, Ereshkigal's the sister that hangs on a meat hook. And unless you've had a narcissistic asshole sister, it can be really hard to understand why that happened.
Yeah.
But I tend to be more on the Ereshkigal side of things with how I relate. So
nice.
So yeah, we have some cool classes coming to Golden Apple. I'm just coordinating them, and I've been asked. Go on.
Product wise, I am definitely. I'm working on some things to expand the incense line. I'm not ready to release them yet because they are still in the development stage. But fun fact, Diana and I were talking the other day, and I was saying, and being completely transparent as I like to do sometimes, I was saying, that I really suffer sometimes from imposter syndrome, which if you don't know what that is, that basically means where you feel like the product that you put out or the knowledge and information that you have to give just aren't up to par. They're not up to snuff, and you literally feel like an imposter. And I don't even think it was a 24-hour turnaround when one of the incenses that I had been burning that I made got quite a good response, and just literally just a 24-hour turnaround, and it started working.
And we see the results.
And then another incense. I'm definitely seeing the results of that. And then a prosperity incense that I'd done for someone is having results right now. So it's very funny sometimes with how the universe can say hello. They're knocking on your screen. They're going, hello, ma'am, please shut up and just wait for the results.
It's not shut up. It's just look, you can. So
no, in my case, it's shut up, because I'll talk myself out of a good time every time.
I've seen you talk yourself into some good times in really impressive ways too, though. So it's a double-edged sword, because sometimes that good time, I'm looking at it going, how the hell are you still alive at the end? But I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah. True. I am also, I may do a rebranding design on our candles. I love them. I love the way that they work, but I want to bring them to the next level. So I have a lot of things in development for the shop. But if there are things that people want to see or ideas that they have for products that, they think that we could bring to fruition, like definitely share it on the page, shoot us a private message. If you know me personally, like send me a text, send me a Facebook message. Like I'm all about that shit. Like I would love to hear your ideas. And if there's something that you would like that I can make for you, I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah. So for my end for production, it has been largely based on Elements had their own herb garden, and I have my own stuff that I grow seasonally. So my stuff has been becoming more seasonally because I have a whole relationship with rue that is very positive compared to a lot of people's, to the point where rue almost took me 3 weeks before it was done letting me extract hydrosol from it, which I hear does not normally happen. And I still had enough fragrance left in the rue to make some rue wreaths for my home.
Very nice.
But what I've been doing is taking the herbs from Elements and the herbs from my own garden and processing them. And I was almost done. And then we had a whole new batch of homegrown white sage come in, and I was trying to figure out a way to process them in addition to just bundling them. And because I don't know the prayers, I wasn't taught that. That is not like part of my wisdom. So I was trying to find a way to like make use of that energy because it was grown by Elements. And I am sure the answer will come to me after I'm home. But right now we have in the shop that I need to get listed is I have this year's version of Four Thieves vinegar. I have some agua de ruda, so like actual hydrosol rue, handwritten labels this year because I had printer issues, which really drives me crazy because I know that people like pretty packaging, but I also make really good stuff. A cleansing spray that I'm calling the classic. It is sage, rosemary, and thyme. And then I finally got my office cleaned up enough that I can have a perfume working again. I have some love oil that I made for a Valentine's special for Elements, but I'm also keeping some to package for Golden Apple. And I decided to use it. So Cynthia and I went to a gay gala in February, which was a fantastic date night that freaked out our kids because they're fine with us dating other people, but not each other. And they actually said this. It was the weirdest, like, I've had some weird conversations with my kids. And I decided, because I accidentally spilled some, so I didn't want to waste it. So I like mopped up the spilled love oil, because you don't have to use love oil except for lust stuff. You can use it for drawing friends. You can use it for drawing business acquaintances, etc. So I decided to like wrap it up in aluminum and like write a statement of intent for, let's just make lots of new friends tonight. And Cynthia and I walked out of there with so many people that wanted to make plans with us later, and like people that were feeling shy approaching us. And, Cynthia is doing a fairly intense political project around harm reduction for finishing their degree. And they end up meeting just the right people to help them with that, like all in one night. Like I had the best time, and it was just using my love oil and just altering it for where I was at. And it was just, oh yeah, I'm good. I almost forgot. I'm that fucking good. For myself.
And Michigan will be soon getting a shipment of love, lust, and self-love incense.
Yes. And you can get that from my office over by Norse Nectar Meadery or at Elements Kalamazoo. So, and yes.
I've been remiss in the comments. We have Jennifer from over in New Orleans. Hi, honey. We miss you
so much. Oh, Cynthia wanted to add that we have the MacGuffin muffins. So Cynthia made these aluminum ingots, and they have been impressively versatile in what we can do with them. So we finally have pretty packaging, because that was what I was waiting for. Oh, and Vanessa Diamond is here. So she's going to be one of our teachers coming up. What thing?
We are very excited to see that.
Okay, Cynthia, how about you type the thing in the comments? You were supposed to mention it. What am I supposed to mention about the muffins? I am so sorry.
About how they work.
How about you do it? Come here. Is that okay, Nikki?
Yeah, but we got to make it short, because we're getting toward the end, and we still have
we're getting to the end of the broadcast. Try to get it in 1 minute, sweetie.
Okay, so very briefly, the MacGuffin muffins, as we call them, is I worked with the aluminum while casting it, and because I was working with that and some other metals and some other things in conjunction with Diana and Nikki's efforts and skills and talents, because they are both wonderful and versatile. And what we found was the mid-process in that step made the aluminum have a bit of an energetic draw because of that work. And while it is limited to that, the versatility of it, because the aluminum, it wanted to know why nobody was using it to hold things. We use it for all other kinds of stuff for magic, but we don't use it to contain things like we do with water bottles and everything else. So we started realizing that they're very useful for everything from like acting kind of like a battery to like you've used them in place of an egg.
Yeah, I was using it in place of an egg cleansing today, because it's like a reusable egg.
But ultimately, they're making their way onto the shop. We just got a little bit more field testing to work out, and then they'll be there. So
yes,
I think that they're already in there somewhere. I'm looking at the.
They're in the background, but I haven't actually listed them publicly yet, or I haven't like given them the subcategories.
But it's just whenever we mention it, we have to mention the process of
the shamanic process. Yeah, it's an agreement with the spirit of aluminum, because
in order to respect them, it's not something we made them do.
Yeah, Cynthia is a shaman. We are both animists, so this is kind of how we work. And Vanessa is saying cool concepts, because she would appreciate that. So,
and I will double check that we do not have it listed on the shop. I'm not sure, but I will double check, and if we are, I will pull that back at this time.
Okay. So like they're supposed to be available. It was just like I threw them up, and then it was right before I went to con. So, and I realized
what else do we have here?
Yes.
So we have a couple things. Did you want to talk about the witches table, or did you want to save that for?
Well, I think we can talk about it really briefly. So one of the things that Nikki and I are doing philosophically for the shop is we are And this is based on that great big table that was in the back of Promenade Coffee on Balboa.
Yeah.
Is that we would, because Emperor Norton Magic Social is how we met. Magic Folk Social is how we met. And there was this great big table in the back. And so once in a while, some college kid usually would like plant themselves there and be the lone person at this 10-seater table. And so we would start doing this thing where, like, if the person wanted to stay there, we actually would tell them they were welcome to stay. And often people did and would start participating in the meetup. But we would start slowly surrounding them with the different, which is like what my friend Onator used to refer to as the island of misfit toys for the pagan community of San Francisco.
Yes. That is a very accurate representation of
it is.
Of
like, it was basically people who couldn't quite find their thing, or like me, I didn't want to just jump into ritual with any group. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to pack the condom and jump into bed with you. You think I'm going to do that ritually where there's no way of using birth control? No, I don't want to give birth to your head.
I don't really do ritual well. I mean, I do ritual well when I plan it, but it's not my bag.
You do it when you feel it. And tradition, like, a lot of people think I'm like trying to destroy traditions. I'm not. I'm just saying it's not the right fit for me. Like, would you be mad at me if I said I was gay and you were waving your penis at me? Well, probably. Men are like that sometimes. But, you know.
Not wrong.
But like, realistically, if it's just not your thing, why try to force yourself into a mold that you know isn't going to fit you? So I was trying to create a space for people that were trying to find where they fit, or who didn't quite fit, in a place that gave them a safety and a community without the implicit pressure that comes with going to like a Druid specific meetup or a Wiccan ritual or something like that. But it was also this thing where we would either, like, you know, absorb these people into our meetup, because some of them would come back for us. So some people actually became members, or eventually just sort of crowd them out because of all of the misfit toys.
Well, I think, and if people are watching this and you're not a practitioner, if you are a part of a set tradition or path, there are amazing resources for you.
There are
when you're kind of on the fringe, or you don't really fit in. Like, I have in my home, I have some specific deities. I can't even talk today. Specific deities that are kind of like our, they keep watch over the house and the family, but I'm not necessarily a part of those traditions. These are gods that I just work with. We've come to a mutual agreement of respect, and we work together. But I'm not necessarily, part of that set tradition. There are quite a few traditions that actually kind of hang out in our house. But if you are on the fringe, or if maybe your magic is that you don't have a particular deity that you work with, you work with, like if you're an animist, let's say, then you don't really have a lot of resources. You don't have a lot of people that you can go to, or a set community that you go to. So we really tried to build that foundation for everyone, the people that are on the fringe, the people that are on a set path or tradition. It's just really nice to be able to come into a group and not have the expectations that you get sometimes.
Yeah.
What is our thing? Be prepared to talk and to listen.
Yeah. So, and the way I would phrase it is be excellent to each other. And if you can't do that, at least don't be a dick.
Yeah. See, I say don't be a dick. I'm not as nice as she is.
Well, it depends on the day, but yes.
Okay. We miss you too.
We miss you. Like, I wish I could fly everywhere. Right now, I need to like pay off the debt from having to fix my house, and we will find a way.
But a trip to New Orleans is definitely on the books for the future.
Yes. So I'm trying to just do it without having to open up an OnlyFans, because I'm still really struggling with creative energy. It's not that I object to OnlyFans. I'm just that damn tired still.
Don't think I haven't thought about making an OnlyFans where I'm hexing people in lingerie. That's not they're not wearing lingerie. I'd be wearing lingerie.
I mean,
tasteful.
No, I'm just thinking about them wearing the lingerie, because I could make that work. Anyway, hi. By the way, the show's rather adult.
We're rabbit holing.
Yes.
We're rabbit holing.
I miss you. we need to have one of our nights where you have whiskey and I have God knows what, and we're just giggling hysterically.
Yeah, and then we go to the park and either dig something up or bury it or set it on fire. I think that was all one night, actually.
That was one night. Then there was the night, because that was the night I came back covered in dirt and a little bit of my own blood, and my roommate was a little upset.
Okay, you did that willingly, though.
I did, but Ryan was surprisingly delicate at times.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm normally the one that does the bleeding.
I was working some shit out. I was going through a divorce and like having a bad affair. It was going to happen.
All right, we're circling back to the witches' table because we have the witches' table and then we have the library that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so the witches' table is something where, like, if you follow our blog on Golden Apple, which we do very rarely, but I'm trying to do more regularly, where we are doing things where every Sabbath or major holiday or holiday that speaks to us. So I might do something for St. Patrick's, although that's probably more appropriate to Nikki because she's got the Irish connection that I don't really have. And like putting together like the kitchen witch thing, because Nikki and I both identify as kitchen witches to some degree. Mm-hmm. I like more explosives than she does, but she's got her own thing. And putting together like a menu and kitchen witchcraft and even topics of conversation or small rituals or ways you can create rituals. And so it's
if I can feed you, it makes me happy.
Yes, this is like hospitality is a big thing for us both. Mm-hmm. So like having that magic of food and community and using the things in your kitchen, because this is one way that both of us work, mm-hmm. is with that feeding and nourishing and giving people ways to nourish. So this is going to be kind of part of our social media, and also making sure we have a diverse variety of people available. We're largely doing it by people coming to us rather than necessarily mm-hmm. soliciting, but it's if it feels right. And we aren't looking necessarily at diversity in the political sense. We're looking at diversity in is this different to the point where we're a little uncomfortable, but not so much that we want to hide our children. And looking for that and bringing that in. I mean, honestly, hiding the children is usually for the other people's safety. So, but yes. Yeah. But it's the idea that everyone is welcome at the table. And yeah, there will be, because I tend to be a right-hand pather, and, Nikki's a little more left-hand, is pushing ourselves to sit with that discomfort or those trauma reactions or negative reactions and understand them so that we can be more inclusive in a nourishing, connecting way. And not necessarily, and we won't necessarily memify things. So it's not going to be shallow. There's going to be some depth to it or something to discover, even if it looks like it's just a dinner menu that we put out.
Yeah. And usually, I will also take any excuse that I can to, light the fire pit or the fireplace.
Mm-hmm. You like fire. That's why you hang out with me, because then it's just spontaneous fire.
It is. It's rather exciting. It's I never know. Is this going to be a day that I get caught set on fire? However, we did have that one exciting time where we had a broom and I kept setting it on fire and she kept kind of putting it out. We didn't have like matches or water though. Jennifer, you were there with the hose. You were waiting.
You were ready with the hose because you know us too well. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a really good summer solstice slumber party. I miss having the slumber parties. Yeah, which I can do them if people don't mind bringing campers, because I have, like, my house is the site of an old asphalt company. We could do it. Anyway, we need to get to the library since we're running out of time.
And I'm very excited about this topic. I'm so glad that you found this. You read into it or have a little bit more research into it than I do, because I just kind of skimmed over it today.
Yeah, I want to drop the GoFundMe for this person. So I did not realize the library is a esoteric library in San Francisco that has been around for apparently decades. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And this is run by one man. I'm sorry, what?
This is their Instagram.
Oh, great. So post the Instagram, but they're also running a GoFundMe, which was the thing that's like taking forever to load right now. But it's an esoteric library in San Francisco. It is this man's house, but he also makes it available as like a lesser known museum to the general public. I just reached out to him today to see if he wanted copies of my books. He is also connected to the Wicked Grounds community like Nikki and I are. So I'm going to reach back and like I know Wicked Grounds is starting to add. They have an occult school that I teach out of, as many of you know, and I know that Mir is moving into opening up an occult shop in addition to Wicked Grounds, which San Francisco needs more than one witch store. There's just too many witches there for one store to support them all. So
We
I'm
used
so
to have
happy.
a ton, and now we don't have.
Yeah, and we still have the witches around. It's just, landlords raise the rent a lot or want way too much of a cut, or it makes it really hard. But he is trying to hang on and keep the library going, and it so fits in with the Emperor Norton, and he's so eclectic about his approach. So I am really hoping that the Emperor Norton Magic Social can work with him in some way, or Golden Apple can work with him in some way, because this is just a cool resource I didn't even know freaking existed, and this is part of the re-weirding of San Francisco. Can start with supporting this guy as well as us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and there is a link for their GoFundMe.
Yes.
But I'm super duper excited. They also have, I don't have the link right in front of me, but if you go to Eventbrite and look up the library, they are doing an event on March 26th. I saw that today, and it is a donation-based event. So whatever you can give. But we can't let places like this die. San Francisco used to be full of these things that just were not, the magic of the city, where you could just pop in and normal people don't see this stuff. But what is that line from The Craft? We are the weirdos, mister.
Yes.
And we find this stuff and we see the magic in these things, and literally I can't wait to go in there and just research things.
I have a feeling this is going to be another person whose brain I just want to lick, but also he has books. He has many books, and he has big books. I am into this. So, all right. Speaking of projects, is Golden Apple has a Patreon as well.
Oh,
so
squeaking on that plane.
This is an important thing for us to let people know about. Is one, Nikki and I did run into a lot of stuff. My boiler set itself on fire, and Nikki had a move and a lot of stuff that just kind of happened, which is like part of trying to exist in the Bay. So like the main thing you'll get in exchange for supporting us via Patreon is more classes, private classes, and things geared to what you or your group needs. So, and Cindy has been kind enough to put in the comments. Thank you, love. So if you are able to support us, we really appreciate it. Even a $5 a month donation can really help. Our long-term goal is to have a physical shop back in the Bay Area. My preference is San Francisco, but the Bay Area where it fits us is really what we're going for.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the the perks, the little things that we are able to give back on there is, quarterly. I think on some of the tiers, quarterly, you get to pick a workshop. And you get to that's your workshop that you get to go into gratis, and you are able to revisit those videos afterwards. And then as if you get a little bit deeper into the tiers, where you have full access to the library of the workshops and videos that we'll have out. Not these videos, because we just have those for everybody because we're just stupid on here sometimes.
Well, but people love us. They love seeing us get together, get a little bit too tipsy, and say inappropriate things because they enjoy it.
Well, I couldn't say too many appropriate things because we started at 7:00 my time, and the kids are still awake.
Okay. Well, next time I'll try to not have PTO stuff.
You had stuff going on. I'm totally fine to do it early. Sometimes I just have to censor myself a little bit.
Yeah, I am the person who made the mistake of not censoring myself, and I heard my youngest yell back to me while I was talking to one of my partners, "What's a dildo?"
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That one bit me in the ass.
Sure did. All right. So before we wrap up, because we are getting to that point now. So we used to do this show every month. It is not sustainable for where we are in our lives right now. So we are going to be doing this quarterly now.
Yes. So once a season, you will get a 1 hour of Nikki and me being us.
1 hour-ish. Yes. However, you can find us on TikTok. Let's see if I didn't throw any of these banners in, but we are, Diana is at Spoon Cherry. Hold on. I gotta find
It's
the
a
app thing.
Minneapolis reference. If you're from Minneapolis, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Is it Spoon Cherry 1 or?
It's just Spoon Cherry.
Okay.
Let me look. I should know my TikTok, shouldn't I? And TikTok's Spoon Cherry 01.
See?
All lowercase.
All lowercase. Okay, so that we're adding that banner, and I'm gonna post that banner. And I don't know what the hell my TikTok is, but you can also look for TikTok. We are at Golden Apple Metaphysical 1. Yes. There is another Golden Apple Metaphysical that has no videos, and that's because I forgot how to access the login. Let's be honest.
We all have those moments, and like the way TikTok does logins is kind of weird, so it is unsurprising. Yeah. So yes, and Cinti does have a TikTok, but it's mostly political stuff. So
lately, I just haven't gotten around to doing other stuff.
Yeah, well, Cinti will periodically do that deep thought inspirational thing where you're almost annoyed that you're inspired, but that's just Cinti. Because that is being exposed. They really are like that.
If you are following just Nikki, it is Nikki Jobin, Jobin. Oh,
okay. And then Cinti's is Cinti Likes Purple. I'll just
okay. We should put all these in the comments. I will do that later. Likes Purple.
All right. So Cinti, if you could put that in the comments. Cinti's also been putting stuff in the comments for us.
Add banner.
Fish.
That is Cinti's.
Have that one ready.
Yeah.
And then last but never ever least, because this is the whole reason I went on TikTok.
So yeah, mostly on for the cute Irish guy doing the anti-St. Patrick's Day posts.
No, I did not do it. I actually was not on TikTok at all. And then I was like, well, you know what? This witch talk thing is a big deal, apparently. And I was like, maybe we should get on board that, and I'll get over my pathological fear of seeing myself on video.
How's that going?
It's a work in progress.
So yeah, with me, witch talk will occasionally lead to void screams, but that is a rant for another time. But right, I'm still making things. Yeah, I am making things because I'm the person that goes through things and then tries to teach you how to deal with it so that you don't have to go through what I went through. So a lot of my witch talk is based on that.
Yeah. I like to say our weird shitometer is through the roof.
Yes, and they raise the roof. We're raising the roof all the time. There's always new weird shit.
Let's see, what have I learned? How many times I cannot die?
Mm-hmm. How many times I can almost kill you?
Yeah. But some of those times I've rather enjoyed.
Yeah.
Mine?
Yes, please put yours on there as well, Cinti. People actually like hearing what you have to say.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and actually what you have to say is quite valuable, so please.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had enough stuff that defies belief, but I'm starting to draw the clients that either they're just not believed by other people in the community, or they just know that they'll say, I think I'm Kristen, instead of going, oh no, you're not, and going back to the dogma about it, I'll say, it's possible, let's see what's going on. Or
yeah, I'm kind of liking just being that extension there. I had a potential client a few weeks back that I was unfortunately not able to help. We were not a good fit.
Mm-hmm. And
I have learned that sometimes I need to be a little bit more discerning. I want to go in and just help. And sometimes I'm learning to draw the lines.
Yeah.
Do I need to put your twos on there?
Yeah, if you could please. So Cinti's going to go ahead and throw our stuff in the comments too, since they're here to help right now. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Every so often you'll get a client and sometimes I've been the client dealing with the actual metaphysical emergency. And here's the thing is, if people aren't available, they're just not available. It is it's not the same as, it's like healthcare. Everything is a little understaffed these days.
Yeah.
And so this person, I was at a convention, I was working full time. There was no way I could drop everything for a high needs client.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't even trying to get you to do that. My whole thought was, do you know anyone that we could refer them to?
And that was your
Really?
first thought. And everybody that I would trust to do a referral just wasn't available. They were
Everybody was
either
at the
at
same
the con,
convention in the
yeah,
snow
everyone's
storm.
at the con with me, or they were at a different con and working. Like,
Yeah.
everybody had an event. So,
And
like,
it's rare that happens, but sometimes it really does.
I will say President's Day weekend is the worst time to try to hire a spirit worker of any kind.
Yeah.
Just don't try President's Day weekend. We're all at conventions or wishing we were. And, in our jammies, yeah.
There's the TikToks.
Yeah. And
does anybody have any questions while we're just kind of we're rolling toward the end?
Yeah, we're wrapping up. So if you've got any questions for us or anything you'd like to share, or even any stories about working with either one of us, that is not actionable, please.
Or that doesn't end nefariously.
Again, 7-year statute of limitations, just as a guideline.
Give or take.
I am usually joking about these things.
It's all consensual.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, now I'm just weird because I ran out of booze.
Oh, see, I went and
I didn't run out. We never run out of booze in my house. I just don't have it in the other room.
I have learned with you that the more likely you have gotten injured working with me, the more likely I need to bring something that has Black Label on it.
Yes. But, I think a lot of the times when I actually had gotten injured was because trying to think of a general way to phrase this. We just, the level of things not that we weren't prepared for it, but we weren't really prepared for it to be that level in my involvement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the stuff since so to be clear, my understanding is that life had slowed down for Nikki just before I moved to San Francisco, and she started wishing that life were more exciting. And
I was not wishing that my life was more exciting. Let me make that very clear.
But Nikki was bored and didn't want to be bored.
Meet witches.
Yes. Nikki didn't want to be bored anymore. She was a little bored, and she came to the Emperor Norton Social before we called it that. She was like literally the first person. And it was a couple of months before we got comfortable with each other, but things stopped being boring very quickly.
They definitely stopped being boring.
And there was a lot more fires.
There were a lot more fires. There was a lot of Coin of the Realm.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? There were lots of anecdotes for books.
Yes, which many of them are in hex twisting, but I'm sure I have many that I did not use.
Yeah, be on the lookout in a few years for my memoir titled "It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time,"
which will be followed by mine, which will say, "Well, that was flammable."
Yeah.
Which will start with the opening chapter of "It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time," and it will probably descend from there.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. All right, my loves, we are actually 15 minutes over what we had intended to be, but
which is really good for us.
We were only 15 minutes over where we had intended to be.
Yes,
I call that a win.
Yes, a win.
So I want to say thank you so much for sharing part of your evening with us. I'm Nikki Jobin. This is my lovely partner, Diana Rajchel. We've been left unsupervised with you. And we'll see you next quarter. And in the meantime, keep an eye on TikTok. You'll find some weird ass videos from me, very informative videos from Diana. And, I might make some stuff on camera. I think my next goal is making the incenses on camera.
Ooh, that'll be cool.
Yeah. And if you ever watch a video of incense that I do, and I will probably say this in the video, but take time to just stop and breathe in all of those amazing scents, because I do that every time I make something. I just have to stop and breathe it in because it's pretty freaking awesome. Right? Love to all of you. Stay safe. If you're out there, be careful of ice storms. If you're in Diana's neck of the woods, if you're here with me, watch out for the high winds and the flooding, which has been minimal this time around.
Good. Be safe,
this particular storm that we're sitting in. Yeah, be safe. take care of each other. You don't have to necessarily be nice, but be kind when you can.
Yes. Kind over nice every time.
Yep. I am not nice. I am kind.
Yes.
All
Same
right.
here.
And stay wicked.
Bye,
All right. Bye.
everyone. Mwah.